We're adding $1,000 of board games to our collection, and don't worry, this is shelf or sell. We're going to have an equivalent amount hitting the sales floor here in a week or two, but for now, we visited 3 different board game stores here
in the Cleveland area, kind of see what the hobbyists are in our area, meet some people, and start getting our feet dug in and a foundation being set.
Our webs in the paddle.
Webs in the paddle.
Our
That sounds
necks
great.
In the foliage.
We're excited to show you what gems we picked up.
Yeah, we went across 3 different stores, each with their own unique theme and flavor. Swing over to the vlog to check that journey out. There might have been some
troubles along the way.
Issues along the way, but we came home with right at about $1,000 worth of new titles. And these are titles that I intend and have intended to add to my collection. So I'm super excited about this video.
We both picked out, I should say, some of the titles uniquely, and then we're kind of telling each other which games that we've had our eye on for a while.
Yeah, so this is Shelf or Sell, and this time...
it's a shelf segment.
Everything at the moment is being shelved because we want to play it. We just got them into our hands. You can let us know if we're making a mistake down below, but these, and I'd say the vast majority of them, are here to stay, because I have played most of these at earlier times. Next week...
there's going to be a completely sell segment. We are going to find, I want to try to find like $1,000 worth of games that we're getting rid of.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. That's kind of the...
I want to offset,
yes.
Right? We've spent money, but you should be able to change and liquidate and cycle your hobby so that it's not actually $1,000 negative. It's just we've traded one pile of games for another pile of games.
Is there going to be a middle game? Is there one we're on the fence on for this segment?
Actually, I'll do 2 that we're on the fence on. One that we've never played, and one that we have played.
All right. Show me which ones you're talking.
The 2
I was like,
that are on the fence.
For my games.
First is going to be Scoville. Scoville, have you ever played this? It's rated fairly highly on BGG, and with Tasty Minstrels Games not really producing too many anymore, I went ahead and picked up one of their titles. I've always had a good time with a lot of their stuff, but I'm, always curious. They put out these weird side titles that honestly hit an indie zine, but don't really hit mass market as often. And this one, like I said, had a really high rating. I love the artwork. I like the idea of it. You're a pepper farmer.
Okay.
And so, this is going to be one that is not guaranteed to stay, but it's guaranteed to get played.
All right.
And the other one is going to be this big behemoth.
Oh.
You going to slide some things off as we pull it? Oh.
I did that fairly well, I have to say, despite the clattering noise it made.
This
is a Eclipse. This is a
Second Dawn for the Galaxy
4E game that I have actually played, which I am very impressed because this is not my genre of gaming. And it took up an entire afternoon. I mean, we started around noon and did not finish till 5 or 6 in the evening. This is a mammoth game that I'm actually interested in playing again. I want to see how the different factions play. I want to dive into it with our game group here in Cleveland. It is a deep, deep game, but it piqued my interest.
So why do we have this? Well, for 2 reasons. First off, it just came back into print. It was hard to get your hands on for a long time without paying extra, like, supermarket prices. And not only have we played this, but I also want to do a direct comparison with TI4, Twilight Imperium, which is another massive 4X game that she has not yet played, but I have.
Is it 4X or 4E?
4X.
Ooh, I call it 4E, 4 Exploration. They all start with EX, so I call them E's.
They're not E's. Either way, this is a game that I'm not sure that we keep. I've gotten rid of TI once before. I now own it again. Eclipse, this is the first time I've actually had my own copy. I don't know if it hits the table enough for us to justify.
Yeah.
That being said, it is going to hit the table. We're probably going to start with an unboxing, and then I think we might try... I'm going to see if it plays okay at 2. I think it's best at 4 or 5.
I think it'll help us teach our friends it.
But we're gonna
play at least once.
We're gonna get a game night set up with Eclipse being a featured game.
And with that, give a vote down below if you think we made a bad decision or if you think we should keep both of these games.
Yeah, the middle ground ones.
Why.
Let's talk about the games that I know we're adding to our collection, starting with Rococo. Rococo is from Eagle Griffin Games. This is a beautiful game about making ball gowns.
It looks fabulous.
The
colors are stunning on the back, and I love the fireworks.
It's absolutely beautiful. It's a combination of deck building, hand management, and resource management.
Ooh.
You're slowly generating a bunch of cards that give you the opportunity to take actions on the board, such as use different seamstresses to get different types of yarn or fabric, trade that in for an upgraded dress, and then slowly start placing your ball gowns into the scene or into the ball so that when everything happens, the fireworks go off, there's this big celebration, you have been the best manufacturer or the best designer of the entire evening.
It sounds good. It sounds like a Euro.
And this is the reason we grabbed this. This is the deluxe edition. This has everything except the metal coins. This is deluxe plus, so it has the expansions in there, and it's just missing metal coins, which I think we can still get our hands on. So, Rococo.
Nidavellir. Oh my goodness. This is a fabulous game, and it is by...
It's not by Dice Tower.
I was like, it's not by Dice Tower.
I mean, we're not cutting this.
I know we're not cutting this. I'm just going to continue being awkward.
Hatchet?
Is it by Hatchet Games? Okay.
I mean, there's a few different publishers, right? BlackRock, Core Games, Hatchet. I don't know who is the distributor here in the United States.
This game is fantastic, though. It is all about numbers. You are trying to increase your stats on a bunch of different tracks and gain rewards when you kind of equalize your different tracks. Your red, your yellow, your green, your blue, and get the most points at the end.
You're sort of deck building in this as well. You're upgrading your coins.
Yes.
You're getting your hand more and more efficient. You're choosing to take actions that give you more and more money that you can then spend on various different auctions to, like you said, claim this tableau that you're building out.
It's just beautiful.
It's...
I did a horrible job explaining it, but the numbers inside of it are
No, it's lovely.
fantastic.
This, like Rococo, is going directly into our permanent collection.
Correct.
We already know that we love it.
Alrighty. Power Grid.
Power Grid. This is a classic Euro. A Euro that you need to play. I have played multiple times. An amazing game. This is heavy, it is thinky, it is mean. What you're doing is you're going to be connecting different routes to different locations that require money and start generating power for you.
Was this the one you were telling me that you can't continue along one track unless you have boosted up your other tracks and kind of keep them all similar? That there's like requirements along the way?
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but
Okay.
maybe. I don't know. Either way, Power Grid is a well-beloved game. We're going to be doing some coverage here on the channel. I know there's a big audience for it, and as far as Euro education, it is right there on the list. This is also one that is becoming a permanent part of the collection. Now, I want to know, what are some of the good expansions? Because I was checking BGG, a lot of the expansions have terrible ratings on them. Like, I was going to get like a Neanderthal, like First Light expansion, and it was like 6.2, and I was like, this is like an 8.0 game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, what else do we have?
We have War Chest.
War Chest.
This is an abstract game that was rated really well on BGG.
8.0, super high rankings. It's
Yes.
number 7 overall for abstract.
And most of the ones above it and below it, like in that area, I've played already and love.
Yeah.
So I am really excited.
You wanted an abstract
I
head-to-head.
did want an abstract.
This is basically chess if you gave everyone asymmetric powers and cool custom abilities.
Sounds great.
It's fantastic. It really is a tactical battleground with a lot of theme for what it's doing, and it's got tokens. It's got chips.
Oh,
so
nice.
like it's nice and heavy. You feel that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it's a joy to play, has a fantastic mechanism, and we have expansions that when you fall in love with this, we're going to order immediately.
Awesome.
Cool. Age of Steam. If you're a fan of Age of Steam, let me know, because I need to know who out there is an audience member. I just learned how to play this for the very first time. When you tilt it back like that, we get glare, which is why I keep trying to force it forward. I just played this for the very first time, and it was an incredible experience.
It was very thinky, you told me. Very thinky and
Very
punchy.
thinky. This is like right on the edge. This is a train game, right? Where you have a market. It's not quite an 18xx, but what you're doing is you're slowly building out and doing pick up and deliver actions from one region to another region. The thing that makes this fascinating is so many designers in our hobby space have actually built their careers off of releasing expansion maps of this game. There's a giant community. There's some designers that still release 5 maps a year.
Wow.
So this box comes with almost an innumerable amount of ways to play, and if you love this game, it has a fan base and a community that has hundreds of different maps with side rules and little bits. Like there's one that's a zombie apocalypse. There's one where the object of the game is to drive yourself to bankruptcy or be the last to something along those lines. It's really good. I'm teaching Alex this. I'm teaching you this. This is one that I had to go pick up. I'm stoked. I'm so excited that I now know how to play this game.
This is Blitzkrieg.
I've never played.
You have not played this. This is so sad because Caesar is coming out pretty soon. This is a 2-player head-to-head war game. You have a I don't know what it's called, a screen, and you have different tokens that you are pulling out from behind it that give you a different choice about what you're playing in different arenas. And you are trying to win a certain number of arenas more than your opponent. And you kind of are taking the score back and forth to see who has the most strength. If you take it all the way far to the very end of the track, you win that arena, and then you can focus on multiple arenas at the same time, and you're just trying to best and win the war. It is fantastic to play.
We wanted some 2-player head-to-head, so
yes.
this is one that you said we are getting.
Yes, because Caesar's on the way, and I need him to see this one so he can do a compare and contrast between Blitzkrieg and Caesar.
That's fair. Thinking of 2 players, I, at the second store that we went to, asked for 2-player suggestions, and Great Plains was the one that he brought up. He said that it's kind of flown under the radar, but everyone that he showed it to has really loved it. And at a price tag, one of the cheaper ones, price tag of $25, I thought that's worth giving a try. If it really is a hidden gem, we'd love to, share it with you all. If it's not, you'll never hear from it again. Actually, it'll be on a shelf for sale segment in like 2 weeks. That's the approach. I don't know. It was the only person that gave me a really good recommendation, and I was like, awesome. 2 games that we know, well, a game and an expansion that we know we are keeping no matter what, because we've already ordered deluxeified components.
Yes, and I am so excited. Viticulture is all about making your own wine. You can make rosés, you can make moscatos, you can make so many, and it is such a great Euro game.
One of Stonemaier Games' first games, I believe it might even be his very first. It is a amazing claim to fame. The game is lovely. It is a Euro. It's a worker placement that travels through various seasons, which I love about it. So you have this push, you have this give and take between how early do you take actions that benefit you versus getting point scoring actions at the very end or last round of the game.
And Tuscany
we love this.
Adds a lot. I know there was a controversy between playing only the base game and playing with Tuscany, and I'm curious to see what your opinions are.
Yeah, this is one that just is permanent in the collection. I think this might be the first game that I try to do my own custom wooden box for.
Ooh.
I want to make handmade wooden boxes for everything that's permanent in our collection.
Okay.
So...
You need a wood shop for that first.
Maybe. Or just like a handsaw and a sandpaper. I think that's how boxes get made, right?
Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
We have the base game.
So you just picked up the expansion for it.
Yeah.
Base game was fantastic.
Base game's so much fun.
It works at higher player counts, which is always an issue. You're trying to find certain games that can play with that many players. And I think it'll play well at lower player counts. We've only played it with a bunch of people. But I'm really excited for the expansion.
Yeah, it's just a solid game. It has interplay between the 2 people that are on the right and the left of you, and you're both playing into the same tableau, and you're going to score the lowest of the 2 that you have. It has a really nice balance point. I actually won the first game we played.
No.
Which felt great. Swinging over. You want to talk about this one?
Cellulose. Okay, so this company, Genius Games, they make these thinky games that actually teach you a bit about science. We have one about the Mendelian inheritance. It's all about Gregor Mendel and how he did pea plants and stuff like that. I know there's one about the periodic table that we saw at Gen Con that I'd like to get my hands on as well. But Jesse surprised me with this when I got back. He's like, look, and he pulled it out and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's cellulose. It's all about how the plants take sunlight and make it into the food that they need for the plant and all their different barriers on the outside. I just got all that from looking at the title. I didn't even read the back.
She's a science dork.
I am a science dork, and I find that if a game teaches you about science, it's 2 things that are fantastic. You like games that teach you about history.
I do. Yeah, no, I really do.
So,
it makes sense. And games that teach me about
have you ever
fantasy JRPGs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Madara.
I knew what you were thinking of. That just didn't fit.
Let's go ahead and cover 3 titles that I grabbed. PAX Transhumanity, PAX Emancipation, and PAX Viking. Now, I grabbed all 3 because they were there in a set, but PAX Viking was really what I was going for. I've played this game. It's probably one of the most accessible PAX games. Now, PAX games are going to be really, really heavy, historically accurate to whatever T they can be games. So, PAX Premier is going to be one that's designed by the same designer as Cole Worley, the same designer as Root.
Okay.
And it is a incredible, historically, thematic but accurate game where you're balancing these warring factions of, the native people, the Russians, the Europeans. as they're all trying to take control of this like resource-rich region. Pax Viking is talking about the Viking expansion into different realms. And so you're going to be playing on this map where you can go to war or create truces or tribes or start spreading. I played some prototype versions of this and did a little bit of development work when it came to just giving feedback as a playtester. And I really loved it. It's the first time I've actually seen it in the wild.
Oh.
I didn't even know it was like out and about yet. And then Transhumanity.
Are these expansions for them, or are they completely separate games?
These are completely separated games. I don't know if they're good, but based off of what Ion Games has done in the past and Saramati Games has done in the past, I feel really solid about wanting to play them.
I'm excited to. This one actually looks the most interesting out of the three to me, the Transhumanity. I'm not such a big history buff.
I know we're keeping Vikings.
Okay.
But I want to play these with you to see where they fall.
I'm down for it.
Okay.
Alright, Enchanted Plumes. To be honest, I played this such a long time ago. But it is a small box game that is very easy to travel with. We're going to be doing some travels coming up. I love peacocks. Besides for ravens, those are probably my next favorite birds because of how pretty they are. They're a rainbow of colors. And Enchanted Plumes is all about peacocks. You are doing number collections, and I believe you are making these little pyramids. And once you start... Do you have a peacock? Fabulous. So you make a pyramid. You do 4, you do 3, you do 2, and you do 1, but you only score it.
Crow or raven in a straitjacket.
Well, listen, you just had prophecy. You can only score the pyramid if you actually complete the entire thing.
Okay.
It is very, very fun. I played it over at Alex a while ago, and I was actually surprised to see it on her shelf because I hadn't seen it in his house again yet.
You like small, bite-sized, accessible games.
I do.
I think you're going to have like a little Calyx corner that just has like 40 games in it.
A little Calyx corner?
That has 40 games in it.
A big Calyx corner.
Okay. Let's swing over to Orleans Invasions. This is going to be an expansion for Orleans. It's actually a really highly rated expansion.
Okay.
You have not played Orleans yet.
I have not played
It
Orleans.
is one that is permanent in my collection. We haven't announced that officially yet, but it is permanent in my collection. You'll understand why after you play it. You have played the bag building game just recently, the one where the post-apocalyptic one, Resurgence.
Yes, there you go.
You have played Resurgence. This does a similar thing to that.
Okay.
You're gaining and upgrading workers, placing them in your bag, spawning them onto your board, and then assigning them to locations to take actions.
I believe I actually have played this.
You might have.
I don't think I liked it.
Well, you will now.
Okay.
So, this is the expansion for it. I hadn't seen it floating around. I know how good it is. I figured I'd just go ahead and grab it, get it in.
And then last but not least...
Isle of Skye, From Chieftain to King. This is one that Kathleen from Labyrinth Games and Puzzles actually first introduced me to.
Okay.
You like tile-laying games.
I do love tile-laying games.
This is that.
Okay.
This is a game, the crux of this is going to be a tile-laying game where you're laying out a map that's going to score you based off of the different type of objectives that you have, from mountain regions to chieftain huts and stuff like that.
Cool.
Here's the thing. On your turn, there's a marketplace. And I look around the table, on my turn, and I say, I'm going to put this tile to auction for 6 coin.
Okay.
Then it goes around the tile. Everyone could decide, pass or buy. If they buy it, they pay you 6 coin, they take that tile.
Yeah.
If they pass, you end up paying 6 coin to take that tile. Has this really beautiful give and take.
So interesting.
You set the market price.
And you have to pay it if no one bites.
And you have to pay it if no one bites.
Okay.
So do you want money, or do you want to try to set it to a point where it's just on the edge and you get the tile? Because sometimes you could be happy with both, but most of the time you're trying to push the audience in one direction or another.
This looks cool. I'm
It's
excited.
really good.
Does it play well at 2 players?
It should play fine at 2 players, I believe.
Fantastic.
I don't know what it is best at, but it should operate. Actually, with the bidding, it might not be as good at 2 players.
Okay.
With the bidding, you might want it up at 3 or 4.
Whatever the case.
Hey.
Am I ending this?
Yeah, sure.
Whatever you do, remember to do
You're ending it
important
that
thing?
way? Like the classic ending?
I don't know.
You
I
gotta
just asked
throw
you.
a curveball at it.
Go jump in a lake.
That'll work.
See you next time. Thanks.